If there's one thing that really boils my broccoli is when you got frauds out here speaking on prominent black figures such as Dr. King and Dr. Khalid Muhammad and Malcolm X, right? But we focusing more on Dr. King because this past Saturday was his birthday, and we observing the holiday today. Now, I bring this title of the video up because right now, as we speak, you got Camel Toe, oh Camel Toe, speaking at a conference celebrating and commemorating Martin Luther King Day. So she's doing a speech about Dr. King as we speak on Facebook Live, which prompted me to go live, to talk about this because the one thing we cannot afford to have is frauds speaking on the name of Dr. King to drive home their agenda. That's what we cannot afford to have. Hmm. We cannot afford to have fraud speaking on the name of Dr. King because the values that Dr. King stood for, the things that he fought and died for, none of these frauds out here stand for the stuff Dr. King stood for, and yet they sitting up here speaking on this man's name like they know the man, like they know his values, like they know his ethics, but they don't even fucking practice it. Now, Dr. King, I can recall, was a proponent and a supporter and an advocate for reparations. Now, last time I checked, that fraud Kamala Harris was not for reparations. She was a big old opponent for that. When she did an interview in the Griot, she's sitting up there saying, "So I'm not going to sit here and do anything that's only going to benefit black people." No, that's what she said. But yet she's standing up there speaking on Dr. King at a commemoration event. The nerve of these motherfuckers that call themselves spitting in our face, and yet come election time, they want us to vote for them, but they don't even stand for the same thing he stood for and don't even support the things we want. Now, it was 3 years ago today that Kamala Harris thought that she was going to use this day to announce her candidacy for president of the United States. Because all that time beforehand, when she was as a senator, the junior senator out of California, she used all kinds of camera time to go after these folks in confirmation hearings. She didn't go after Steve Mnuchin, no, but she used her platform to go after all these guys with all these tough questions and all that. Yeah, straight out the Obama playbook. And the Obama really didn't do anything for black people either. When he had the opportunity to do something with it, he didn't do anything with it. And yet they sitting up here speaking on Dr. King on this day when they don't even stand for the same principle he stood for. That shit pissed me off to no end. They put on these fraudulent acts every day, and yet come Martin Luther King Day, come Black History Month, here come this fucking chameleon. And yet these black bootlicks out here constantly putting on a kit for this woman. You got K-Hab members putting on a kit for this woman. This woman is a goddamn opportunist. And any opportunity that she's going to have to bring things to her advantage, she's going to take it. Ask Willie Brown. She cocked her legs up for Willie Brown, and then as soon as she got in a position where she don't need him no more, she tossed him aside like the piece of trash she is. So what does that make her? And yet she's speaking on Dr. King. She was a prosecutor, locking up black men and women. That bullshit ass truancy law. Dr. King wouldn't have stuff for no shit like that. And yet she's speaking on Dr. King. Running around here, not doing anything for the black community yet. She called herself to be black. But yet, she's speaking on Dr. King. Dr. King don't stand for no shit like that. I want to know who thought it was a good idea to have that individual speaking on Dr. King like she carries his values, like she upholds his upheld his vision. She is a white supremacist operative. The only reason she got that position was because of Joe Biden. It wasn't because of her qualifications. Now I'm still waiting on somebody to answer the question of what the fuck did she do to earn that position? She's not qualified. She's showing you she's not qualified. And yet she's sitting up there speaking on Dr. King like she upholds his values, sees his vision, and operate under that premise. And there's other frauds out here that call themselves running their mouth about what Dr. King stood for and what he them and white supremacists alike. Because hey, it's what Dr. King would have done, right? They want us to sit up here and be quiet and be nonviolent. Meanwhile, they can spit in our face, slap us in the back of the head, do all this other shit, and yet we supposed to just up there just take it as it is because it would be the same thing Dr. King would have done. Those who make peaceful protests impossible makes violent protests inevitable. And that we continue to have people out here who don't know nothing about nothing, speaking on issues that they know nothing about. None of these people know about Dr. King. They take 2 or 3 snippets from that I Have a Dream speech, and that's supposed to be the definition of who Dr. King was. And then you got feminists out here lying on Dr. King, talking about how he was an adulterer and how he did this and how he did that. Now that lie was propped up by the FBI and Elder Michaud. Lying out here talking about how Martin Luther King Day was canceled. Bitch, how the fuck his day was canceled and yet you're benefiting from that from getting a day off? So how's Martin Luther King Day canceled, you dumbass hoe? That dumbass hoe on Twitter. I'm not gonna give her fucking name out because I'm not trying to give that stink pussy clap having Jezebel no relevancy. Fuck you. Can't be running around here with pussy that smell like the catch of the day at Red Lobster, and then you can type your shit on Twitter thinking that's gonna reach out to the masses. Fuck you, ho. Salute to you, my sister Pink Meadow. Salute to you. You got feminists, white media members, journalists, historians, black bootlicks alike. All these motherfuckers here lying on Dr. King. None of these motherfuckers stood what he stood for, and yet they want to sit up here and talk this shit about, oh man, we need to celebrate the life of Dr. King because and you black folks out there really can't be. Look, all this shit about critical race theory, right? Because They don't want the kids learning about the shit that they did, their ancestors did, but yet they're sitting up here benefiting from the shit their ancestors did. What's up, Kevin Wedderburn? Dr. King stood for affirmative action way before affirmative action became a thing. Matter of fact, it was 30 years before it became a thing. And yet you got Kamala Harris running her mouth about Dr. King when she don't even stand for his principles. She did everything under the sun but support what Dr. King supported. Because if she had, she would have cut the check already. You motherfuckers need to cut the shit and cut the check. Cut the bullshit and cut the check. Y'all doing everything possible to not give us our motherfucking money. What we owed. This country was built off the backs of slave, and you can't deny it. You cannot deny it. The economic wealth in this country is built off the backs of slaves. And you guys continue to get goodies, giveaways, guarantees, and everything else that comes with the white supremacist concept. That's why you got crash test dummies like Kamala Harris running her mouth the way she does. Because the minute they try to reinvent themselves when white supremacy brings the tools that they are, they become irrelevant. And watch, as soon as she leaves office, she will become irrelevant. Nobody's going to listen to her. Nobody's going to give a fuck about her except that, the few K-Hive members. And maybe the elite bourgeois of the bootlicks. But most of the black contingent ain't gonna fucking care about this woman. Why we got fraud speaking on prominent black figures, man? If they're not speaking on them, then you got other people out there putting out bullshit ass fucking documentaries and movies about prominent black figures. Remember a couple years ago when that movie about Harriet Tubman came out, and who the fuck was Bigger Long? Who the fuck is Bigger Long? I've never heard no motherfucker named Bigger Long in a fucking movie. That sounded the name of a dick in a porno. Hell, Bigger Long, that sounds like the name of a motherfucker that should be in a porno, for crying out loud. Bigger Long. What's up, Maximus Royalty? For real. Here we got Monica over here. Monique has Bigger Long on one side and Mandingo on the other. But yet, that's the character we want to use in a motherfucking movie? Are you serious right now? All this history about that bullshit ass movie about Harriet Tubman, get the fuck out of here. And yeah, you got these black bootleggers. I remember one church took a trip up to the movie theater to watch that bullshit ass movie. And then you got these jackasses. Oh man, that was such a good movie. What the fuck? There was nothing factual about that movie. There was nothing good about that movie. And yet you got these dumbass motherfuckers out here. Oh man, it was such a good movie, man. The plot was so good. Oh man. So let me get this straight. The black man was the enemy and the white man was the hero. The fuck out of here. During the slave time, the white man was the hero, the black man was the enemy, right? Boy, I swear to God, man. I swear to fucking God, man. You can't make this shit up. Why these frauds continue to speak on prominent black figures? Why is got Kamala Harris speaking on Dr. King? Why you got white supremacists out here speaking on Dr. King? Why? You got Al Sharpton, that motherfucking boy. Right. Thank you, Carla. Thank you. She wasn't even fucking. That bitch wasn't even fucking black. She's not even a black American. You mean to tell me of all the black women that's out here who live in America, you couldn't find out one black girl to play Harriet Tubman? Not one. All these black women that's out here. You could, look, there's black women that work at Golden Corral, there's black women that work at a hospital, hell, there's black girls that work at goddamn Marriott. You couldn't find out one black girl who lives in America to play Harriet Tubman. No, you had to get somebody from the UK, from the United Kingdom, for crying out loud. And then this bullshit, right? Right. You got white people running around here talking about how not getting the jab and being and staying at home while having access to the refrigerator, while having sex, while having access to their significant other, whether it be their husband, their wife, their pet monkey, right? Or in some extreme cases, a fucking parakeet. And yet, they're sitting up here talking about staying at home and wearing a mask is equivalent to slavery. What? So let me get this straight. Let me get this straight, you white supremacists, right? Let me get this straight. So staying at home, having access to the refrigerator, having access to your bed, having access to your shower, to your Wi-Fi, right? While getting to pet your dog, while getting to play with your kids, while getting to, lick the back of your husband's ear or back of your golden retriever's ear, right? Because some of you some sick freaks anyway. So y'all having access to that. You can get in your car, go to the store, buy chicken wings and burgers, and yet you get to drive back home, not even get encountered by the police. And yet y'all sitting up here talking about y'all being segregated against? How? How? You motherfuckers sound stupid as fuck. Don't use our plight to justify your fucking bullshit. Don't use our plight to justify your bullshit. Fuck out of here. I better not hear no goddamn white supremacists calling themselves speaking on goddamn Dr. King. Fuck out of here. Cause see, y'all didn't have to suffer through redlining and blockbusting and gentrification. Y'all ain't had to suffer through that. Black people gotta suffer through that. So no, y'all don't get to speak on the black struggle when the situation still goes on to this very day through legislation, through actions of the government and amongst its citizens. It's the very fabric of this country. As sloppy Joe Biden like to put it, oh, it's the soul of the nation. Yeah, the soul of the nation is built on racism, god damn it. Now, notice I did not say anything about John Lewis and motherfucking Al Sharpton and Jesse Jackson. They're not prominent black figures. They're coons. John Lewis' claim to fame is getting his ass whooped on the Emmett Pettus Bridge. I'm not going to have my kid role model someone who got his ass beat. I give a little blood on that bridge and Sherman. I spilled my blood, Sherman. No, I'm not going to have my. I'm not going to have no kid. No kid. Look, when I encounter a kid in school, right? I could be like, look, when I bring up prominent black figures, right? I'm gonna have a guy like Martin Luther King. He stood for something. Malcolm X. He stood for something. Stokely Carmichael. He stood for something. I'm not gonna have no motherfucker like John Lewis, who's claiming the fame's getting his ass beat for pillar to post, and then at the same time smiling while getting his ass beat. No. Because if you roll through Atlanta, what the fuck did he do in Atlanta? Did Atlanta progress because of John Lewis? No. Did Baltimore progress because of Elijah Cummings? No. Shout out to my brother, this bottom line, Santee Walton, right? He'll tell you. You ask him about Elijah Cummings. You ask my brother Santee about Elijah Cummings, see what he tell you. Elijah Cummings ain't did shit. So no, I don't speak on them because they're coons. Yeah, Fred Hampton, what's up, J-Dog? Salute to you, bro. Shout out to my homie. Go subscribe to this channel. You got these fakers, frauds, phony suck puppets, and sellouts calling themselves speaking on prominent black figures like Dr. King. I'm not standing for that bullshit. I'm not standing for this bullshit. Because look, anybody in the white media that props up a black dude and they don't go after him, that's your first clue he's on the fucking team. Team white supremacy. Now, that chocolate milk that heaven had motherfucker Eric Adams, right? That motherfucker looked like Donald Trump when he was being sworn in for mayor in New York. Did the white media go after him with any kind of vitriol? Did they attack him, his family, his character, and all that shit? No. That's your first clue he's on the team. Because see, when it comes to a prominent black figure who is upstanding, outstanding, does what he does for his community, right? And what the first thing they do, they look for something to go after him about. They look for something to desecrate and denigrate his name and cast aspersions upon him. And if they can't find anything, then what they do? They make something up. Hey, since we can't really find anything on this prominent black figure, let's just cook up some shit. And they get pissed off over the shit they cook up. Because as Neely Fuller always liked to put it, and she put it so eloquently, white supremacy likes taking both sides of the conversation. Hey, let's denigrate the man while he's alive, and then yeah, let's go ahead and prop him up like when he's dead. That's taking both sides of the conversation. Let somebody like Kamala Harris don't stand for reparations, right? Like Dr. King does, right? Let's not stand for the things Dr. King stand for, and yet I get to speak on his name and give us this moderately eloquent speech on the day that's commemorated for him. That's taking both sides of the argument. Exactly. Guys like Khalid Muhammad, a fierce, fearless, prominent black figure. They attacked him when he was alive. Hell, they condemned a lot of his speeches. So I say all that to say this: our prominent black figures, the Dr. John Henry Clarks of the world, the Dr. Joseph Ben Yakinen, the Malcolm X's, the Martin Luther Kings, the Stokely Carmichaels of the world, the the Colin Muhammad's of the world. We got to protect our prominent black folks, man. The folks that is out there really fighting for us and all that, that sacrifice their life for us and all that. We got to protect them. Because too many times we sitting up here, we let these people who know nothing about nothing, whether it be feminists, white media members, white supremacists, all these motherfuckers, they're speaking on the names of prominent black folks that are not here to defend themselves. Look what they did to Michael Jackson, for crying out loud. Michael Jackson, whose man is living. And Michael Jackson was a big proponent and advocate for the black community. They did a 10-year investigation on this man, thinking he's out there touching little boys and shit. They couldn't find nothing. And yet what they do, years upon years upon years after this man is gone, Oprah Winfrey, that that Aunt Mammy Supreme, brought those two known fucking liars on that goddamn show, on that goddamn documentary, Finding Neverland, and cook up that bullshit about Michael Jackson. All for some fucking clout. Now, Oprah Winfrey, that's supposed to be her, Michael Jackson's supposed to be her friend. So why would she do that to her friend? Fuck out of here. Now, these same people that was running around out here benefiting off the backs of blacks. And yet they sitting up here, then the same people telling black people they need to pull themselves up by the bootstraps. You get the fuck out of here. You get the fuck all the way out of here. And then y'all got nerve to talk about, well, you black folks need to really stop doing this because that's what Dr. King would do. What? No, you don't get to speak on Dr. King. No, you don't. No, you fucking don't. Yeah, I remember I remember that bullshit talking about she wished she was white. Well, bitch, we wish you weren't even in existence then, motherfucker. You over there running your mouth, but goddamn, you over there running your mouth and shit. All these motherfucking lies, that hammer toe having asshole, what her name is? Her best friend. Looking like Angela Bassett. What the fuck her name is? Oh yeah, Gail King. Yeah, fuck you too. All you black bootlicks out there that run around here carrying water for these white supremacists and all these other, and the white supremacist ideology, fuck all y'all. Y'all ain't learned the lesson from most recently. What that clueless name? The name of that clueless bitch? What the fuck is her name? What the fuck is that clueless woman? The woman that played in Clueless. What the fuck is her name? Oh yeah, Stacey Dash. That's her name. Y'all ain't learned from Stacey Dash yet. Now all of a sudden she want back in the community. She's made her life's work for years upon years upon years for her disrespect and disdain and dismissing of the black community. Now, after her fourth husband left her trifling ass, all of a sudden now she wants to be back in the community. Fuck out of here. Now all of a sudden you're pro black. when for years you had whiteout getting sprayed all over your face. And now all of a sudden now you want back in the community. Fuck out of here. Yeah, all you bootlegs. Yeah, Amanda Seals, yeah, she's a trifling ass bitch too. Jamel Hill, another one. Trifling ass bitch. All you trifling assholes can get the fuck out of here. For real. Y'all speaking on Dr. King, y'all don't stand for his fucking values. Fuck out of here. Now, I'm gonna say this again because this is really directed at Kamala Harris. 3 years ago, on this very day, she tried to announce her candidacy for president. On this very day, name dropping all these prominent black figures and like Shirley Chisholm and I mean just name dropping all kinds of prominent black folks, Thurgood Marshall and all these other folks, right? And she really thought that was gonna get her the black vote. Hey, I was gonna announce my candidacy for president on Martin Luther King Day, and these mindless black numbskulls out here go vote for me. Well, she really thought she had that black vote in the bag, right? Because she thought just because she could dance to Cardi B and put some hot sauce in her bags, you know, straight up the Hillary Clinton playbook, I got that hot sauce in my bag swag. And take my ass to motherfucking Sylvia's and pretend I'm gonna eat some collard greens and all that when knowing goddamn well you ain't never ate collard greens a day in your fucking life. Because after that photo op, right, you probably put them collard greens down, probably left and went across the street and got you something, got you a little Asian dish, right? Because ain't you Asian? You can't be black because you ain't never proclaimed yourself to be black. You Asian? Huh? So no, I'm not buying what she's selling. I'm not buying it. I'm not buying it. Right? And all you Kamala Harris crash test dummies out there, I want to know if she was so strong, how come she couldn't even make it to her home state primary? If she was so strong. And anytime you ask her a legitimate question, she's bubbling, fumbling, stumbling, stuttering, and stammering all over the place. The most recent interview should have told you everything you needed to know about this woman. She's not qualified, Shawty. She ain't qualified. And yet she's standing up here on Martin Luther King Day giving a speech about the life and history of the man, the legend, the iconic Dr. King. Ain't nothing iconic about Kamala Harris. Now, Willie Brown might have a different take on things, but still, there's nothing iconic about Kamala Harris. And all you motherfuckers out there that's a crash test dummy. And I'm gonna say another thing, because a lot of you motherfuckers expose yourself. A lot of you motherfuckers expose yourself because for Kamala Harris to get where she's at, you had to vote for Joe Biden. Because last time I checked, on the ballot it says Biden Harris. It does not say Harris Biden. It says Biden Harris. So for Kamala Harris to get where she's at, you had to vote for Joe Biden. A lot of you motherfuckers expose yourself. See, this is what happens when you become some slick talker Skywalker. When you get a guy like me that catch the bullshit and expose your ass for what you really are. You're a bootlicking Sambo. Yeah, her Jewish husband might have something to say about her not being iconic too. Yeah, her Jewish husband, Douglas Emhoff. Yeah, he might have something to say about her being iconic, but there's nothing iconic about Kamala Harris. Let's just be honest with you. Let's just be honest about the situation. Can anybody look up and definitively say that, oh man, Kamala Harris, oh my God, she's just this bombastic woman that I would go to the ends of the earth behind, and she can move mountains with all her policies and the ways that she speaks. Oh, she speaks so well. Fuck out of here. That woman is a fraud. She's a counterfeit, a charlatan. I don't want no counterfeit speaking on real black folks, man. For real. I don't like no counterfeit speaking on real black folks. I mean, what qualifies Kamala Harris, of all people, to speak on Dr. King? I want to know. Can somebody tell me? Can somebody tell me what qualifies Kamala Harris to speak on Dr. King? What qualified Barack Obama to speak on Dr. King? Because when he was in a position of power, he didn't do anything with it. Now all these years out of office, now he about reparations all of a sudden. Fuck out of here. Roly Poly Martin. Why? Look. Roly Poly has no business speaking on Dr. King. He don't stand for what Dr. King stood for. Fuck out of here. I don't want to hear nothing from the Sheila Jackson Lees and the Hakeem Jeffries and all these other black bootlegs. I don't hear nothing from no Val Demings or none of these other motherfuckers out here, right? And definitely, I don't want to hear nothing from that Supreme Bojangle bootleg extraordinaire James Clyburn. I definitely don't want to hear nothing from that motherfucker. That 5-button dusty suit wearing bastard. Look, why didn't you cut the check yet? Why are you out here working on bills for Catawba Indians and shit, and yet you got black folks in your district that's struggling right now, and yet the way you pay them back is having some annual fish fry? So that's how you think of your constituents, right, Jim Clyburn? You think that 2 pieces of whiting with fries and some coleslaw with a Diet Coke is the way to pay back the constituents that voted your trifling ass in the office every time since 1993. That what you think of us, Jim Clyburn? That what you really think? Stephen from Django. That what you think about us, right? You a Sambo. Instead of worrying about white supremacists stealing your bourbon when they storm the Capitol, instead of worrying about motherfucking Catawba Indians, you standing up there at that meeting with my homeboy Kato Amir, Marcel Wilkins. That's right. That's the man that's gonna come get you up out of that seat because you need to be retired by now, right? You sitting up there holding that microphone like how a first time prostitute held a dick, and yet your 5-button dusty suit having ass ain't doing shit for black people. The median salary in South Carolina in the 6th congressional district where that Sambo Jim Clyburn reside is $35,000. And yet you're speaking on Dr. King. You was one of the main crash test dummies for Joe Biden when he was running for president. So no, you don't get to speak on Dr. King, did Jim Clyburn. Fuck out of here. Well, you could tell some tale about, I met Dr. King when I was a teenager down there in Selma, Alabama. The fuck out of here. Why is these people speaking on our black folks, man? Why? Why? Now I'm gonna do the dubious pleasure of listening to her little interview, and we're gonna break that shit down. We're gonna break that shit down because that's bullshit. That's bullshit that Kamala Harris get to speak on Dr. King. It's bullshit that all these other bootlegs in Congress right now, the Congressional Immigrant Caucus, the Cocoa Butter Coons, whatever you want to call them, right? Them motherfuckers have no business speaking on Dr. King. None of them, because they don't stand for his values. If they did, they would have cut the check already. They would have cut the check already. It'd have been no debate. There'd have been no goddamn HR 40 bill. When Asians didn't even need a goddamn HR 40 bill. They just cut the check. Do an executive order. These are the same people that defend a white daddy for every crumb of their daily bread. That's why we got all these goddamn, just like my brother Maxim Royalty said, my little brother out here saying that these mammies and these bootlicks and these sellouts and these sock puppets and simps run around here the way they do because they depend on white daddy for giving every crumb of their daily bread. Pets don't need much. We got to protect our prominent black folks, man. All the all these ancestors and the grandmaster teachers out here that's for the black community that's been fighting and continue to fight through their descendants, through us, right? We got to protect these people because if we don't, our struggle's gonna be lost. It's gonna be distorted. There's too many motherfuckers out here distorting the message. That's why we can't have everybody speaking on the black community. Too many motherfuckers out here distorting the message. And I don't stand for that shit no more. Smash the like, hit the subscribe. This your boy. Scream at me. Oh!